Welcome to the Bayou City Soccer Podcast. Whether inside or outside the loop, we are talking everything soccer in Houston. Y'all ready? Let's get it.
Welcome to a special episode of the Bayou City Soccer Podcast. We are pleased to be joined today by University of Houston women's soccer head coach Ben Williams. Ben, how's it going?
Good, good. Thank you very much for having me, and I appreciate you having me on.
So you were named head coach at University of Houston earlier this year. So if you're heading into your first season at U of H. How have you used this short amount of time that you've had to kind of shape this things and get ready for this season?
Yeah, I think the biggest one we had to come in and kind of get a culture that's our own, and it was never me. We believe a player-led environment is going to go so much further than a coach-led environment. So we had to come in and find what we wanted to be, and what wasn't going to be my Houston, wasn't going to be the players' Houston. It was going to be our Houston, and what that kind of looks like for us on an everyday basis, what that looks like in relationships within the group, within the coaching staff, and how we kind of set our core values every day. So that was one of the biggest things that we done straight away, and that's everything about what we do, moving from training sessions and that kind of stuff. So wanted to get some players in that we kind of knew our style, and we got some players over from our previous place, and some other players that we kind of knew of in the States as well. So again, getting good players, but most importantly, good humans was a big thing, trying to get done as fast as possible.
You mentioned your previous job coming from Stephen F. Austin. You led the Lady Jacks, the largest turnaround in D1 last season, 14 wins, I think you guys had. What was the big turnaround that helped you guys there, and what are some of those things you can bring from SFA here to Houston?
Yeah, it was similar thing in the terms of culture about what we kind of changed around, and how we wanted to play and what we wanted to do, and very similar to what we're trying to do here. Once you kind of tie in what we're looking to do into the athletic department, into the community, I think that changes everything. And what we want is anyone that comes to watch one of our games is when they come and watch, and people from Houston specifically, is when they come and watch a game, they see a little bit of themselves on the field. Someone that's hardworking, relentless, doesn't give up. And I think that's something that everyone can appreciate, being from Houston, kind of an underdog in every sense. And that's what we want to kind of represent in this community and the athletic department.
Yeah, and I know you talked about it when you were hired, but you have some roots in Houston. Started out all the way back to ECNL, and Houston's very important for you. You know, you talked about building something here. Can you just talk about a little bit about your history in Houston and now coming back?
I was ECNL director in one of the biggest clubs in the city for 4 years, from 17 to 21, and the city is very much reminds me of where I'm from in England, from Liverpool. So very diverse, multicultural, hard-working place, awesome people. There's always something to do. So I've always loved the city and fell in love with it, and any chance I ever had to get come back to Houston, I took to visit or whichever. So when obviously this opportunity come available and started talking, it was a no-brainer. But I think, I've said it before, representing something that represents a city that you love is something that's very, very special, and something I'm very grateful for. And no doubt, my staff and our players are the same way, and we want to try and represent the city in the best possible light.
And you mentioned being at the youth level and all those roots that you have in Houston, and we've seen in Houston the just the amount of great athletes and players that come out of this area. How critical is that local and regional recruiting for you guys at U of H?
I think it's going to be huge moving forward. I think that's something that we're really trying to tap into. And again, weirdly enough, I think we have nearly now 8 players, 9 players on the roster, between transfers from other places and players I coached in youth, that I've coached before. And so it's a little bit crazy, especially when we have a couple of kids who Adelia and Charlotte Richardson. I coached them when they were 12, which is always weird, kind of seeing them as a little tiny kid, and now they're both taller than me. So that's not a hard thing to do, being 5'8". But it's awesome tying those things. And I think the biggest thing for the Houston community is, and the top athletes in the Houston community now, that you can do and represent a city that you love and that you're from on the biggest stage in the nation. And I think that's something that's very, very special. And obviously, we need to show that we can get the top athletes here, but not only we can actually coach the top athletes to go pro and really develop a successful program. And once we start doing that, we will attract some of the top players here and try and keep them in the city.
You mentioned cultivating culture, creating culture. I know we've gotten to talk to Fabrice Cottrell, the Dash head coach, a lot. He's kind of in the same situation, rebuilding something, creating a culture. How big is that, especially for a program at the college level, to create that culture and then build off of that on the field?
Yeah, it's enormous. Like it's absolutely huge. It's and culture can be a lot of words, right? And what you want and that kind of stuff, but it comes from the coaching staff, it comes from every single day. And it's truly if you and no matter and our leadership group that we have and the captains that we're gonna have, they must kind of embody about everything about what we do. And the moment that we don't do that, that's when cracks start happening. But yeah, we are trying to build something. We are not trying to come in here and try and be successful in 1 year and then be terrible the next. We are trying to build something that is sustainable here and that's got longevity to it and it's successful for a long amount of time. And the only way we can do that is put a firm foundation, and everything that happens from that is from the culture and the core values about what we have and what we're trying to do and what we're trying to be.
And looking ahead to this season, I know you mentioned a lot of players you've brought in that you're familiar with. I was reading that you guys have 11 transfers coming in that combined to win 11 conference titles at their previous schools. You know, there's a lot of talk about winners and having people in your locker room that have that experience. How big is that for this team that's looking to turn things around?
Massive, massive. I think that's the bigger thing in any program that you want to take over is mentality and winning mentality and doing the things that you can control and doing the things that you want. Look, it's Houston. It's hot, right? It's 110 degrees and it's burning your skin every time you go out and that kind of stuff. But and those are all things that you can find excuses in. And regardless whether we play in 110 degrees, 30 degrees, and everything in between is it's about us and trying to win every single moment and do the things that we can to win. And I think for us is something that winning isn't controllable. That's a crazy thing to say, but it's not. But if we do everything we can do that we can control and every single moment that we can do in training and games, winning should take care of itself. So it's all about trying to find the positive performance and in doing it in such an aggressive manner that winning will take care of itself. And that's a big thing that we're trying to cultivate about that winning mentality. And it's on individuals, it's on us as a coaching staff, and to really form a culture of the core values of constantly doing the things at a winning mentality at the best of your possible capabilities.
And U of H, you guys get things started exhibition on Friday against Rice. Then you have a very tough out non-conference schedule, right? You go back to SFA, you have University of Texas, and then a very tough Big 12 schedule. I know
Yep.
big picture, a lot of games to play, but what are just your overall thoughts ahead, on this season ahead?
We're excited. I think like the players who were here last year that didn't wasn't what they wanted to be, and obviously we have very high aspirations about what we're trying to do. I mean, we're obviously one game at a time. The one that's right in front of your face is the only one you can deal with, and you take them the next one that's going to be in your face. So I think the biggest thing for us is putting Houston on the map and not someone looking at Houston going, hey, this is the first thing is this is going to be difficult. Like, I do not want to go play Houston. I know Houston's coming to us. This ain't going to be easy. And I think that's the first thing that we have to get across to people is when they play us, it will not be easy. I will guarantee you that. And now we can start building on that kind of thing. So, but we're excited. I think the players are excited about what we want to show people and kind of start putting Houston on the map a little bit and really start building something here.
Before we let you go, I know you mentioned you're from Liverpool, but not a Liverpool fan, right? I noticed, I looked at your bio. You're on the other side, right?
Unfortunately, I'm not. Yeah, the side that hasn't won a trophy in 30 years. So yeah, it's
New stadium coming though, right? You guys,
new stadium. That comes with
this is
other
the
problems.
turnaround begins.
Oh God, new problems. Now you don't have any money to buy players to get them in the stadium. So it's one problem after the next. Now, if we can stay in the Premier League for one more year, then the funds might start coming in. So, well, yeah, But I mean, you never want to be. It's actually been quite exciting being down the net relegation zone. There's something you can worry about every single week rather than being mid-table. So trying to take the positives out of that.
There you go. Coach, before we let you go, I know we talked about a lot of soccer fans in the Houston area. A lot of people out there probably haven't been to U of H games or seen the college game. Just a message out to the soccer fans of Houston.
Yeah, absolutely. It's something that we're trying to do from the inside out as well. Like myself and my staff have all been around local youth clubs and coaching players and that kind of stuff. I think again, we want to buy into the community as much as the community buys into us, and we only get investment out of the community as much as that we give it. So, and if come and show that we have 27 fantastic young human beings and young women that can run around and show you the skills. And hopefully anyone that wants to come out, we represent the city of Houston in the best possible way, and everybody that comes gets to see a little bit of themselves on the field and what their core values are. So please come out and support, say hello. It is very, very much appreciated, and we as a staff and a community are trying to get out and be involved in much in the community as possible as well. So we appreciate everyone's help and support.
He's University of Houston head coach Ben Williams. Ben, we appreciate the time, and we'll definitely be catching up with you this season.
Thank you very much. Thank you.